or something.
Oh gosh. Hello. How is everybody who is watching? We currently have 0 viewers, but if you're watching on YouTube, you're a viewer. So I'm asking how you are.
Yes. I guess we'll wait not too long because people on YouTube can be a little
Finicky,
which is fine. I mean, you come to YouTube to watch a certain stuff, but we do like to upload our Twitch streams onto YouTube just to kind of get everybody. So we're just kind of sharing to all of our socials right now. We are on Instagram at the bottom, as you can see, Bayou_Chronicles. Twitter, yep, Mom's here. Nana's always in the chat. We appreciate you. We're up to 2 viewers now. Hopefully our background looks better. Our camera looks better. We got a new monitor. We got a new camera stand and a little bit of a new lighting. So I hope the audio sounds good. I guess the camera looks good. So if it looks good, let us know. If it doesn't sound too good, I am having some sinus issues, so sorry, I can't fix that, so you have to deal with it. But yeah, tonight we're going to be talking about the Georgia Guidestones. I know literally nothing. I was even wrong on the location of this. So, yeah, we're just going to wait just a little bit longer just to see if some other people will kind of straggle in.
Because it's a crazy, intense kind of little story.
I'm excited for it. Purposely, y'all know how we do. If one of us is going to present something, we purposely don't research it if we already don't know about it. Sometimes we both know a topic.
It's kind of like Stonehenge, but we have more information about it.
Visually, that's what it made me think of. Kind of, but different. I don't know much. What I know is from me, like, making our flyer and kind of finding images and stuff, and I read, like, a little snippet. And then I read a little snippet of Krystle's notes that clarified that I was, in fact, wrong on which type of Georgia it was.
It's not Georgia the country, it's Georgia the state.
I was very confident in myself that it was the country, and it is not, so...
Sorry, I'm literally posting this that we're live on all of our social medias, so if you...
Yep. Oh, and shout out to YouTube. We hit 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel. Literally, 2 days ago? Either yesterday or the day before.
Woohoo!
So thank you guys so much for those of you that are going to be watching this on YouTube. So thank you very much. That was pretty awesome to get that little notification. So yeah, it's not a lot, but to us it's a lot.
I'm doing the last one now, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay, so while Krystle does that, I'll go ahead and do the last little bit of business. Only the newest current thing that we have going on for us is last week we had the privilege to be interviewed by Meredith at the Shreveport Times here in Shreveport, Louisiana. And it was very awesome. It was so organic, so natural. We were both so nervous going to this interview. Like, I literally told Krystle I could never be a famous person because all day waiting for our interview, I was so anxious. And Meredith, she is the lifestyle journalist at the Shreveport Times. She's awesome. You should look her up. She's on Instagram. Meredith White. She was just so nice.
We had so much fun.
She had so much in common with me and Krystle. She likes true crime.
She made the joke that she was like right in between Bethany and I.
She said that she was a perfect mixture of like me and Krystle. Like her personality is like I guess if me and Krystle ever had a child, that would be Meredith. So yeah, shout out to Meredith. And they're going to be taking pictures of us next week, so hopefully you get to see that article in the next couple of weeks, and we're really excited about that.
Yes, very, 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 very excited. Okay, do we want me to just dive into this? And if anybody has any questions, I can just answer them?
I say yes.
Okay.
I say yes.
I'm going to go ahead and start our Audacity so that we can record this for
just for our Spotify people and our Apple podcast, I should say, because that's our most used thing. Even though I use Spotify.
I use Apple just because I can say, "Hey Siri, play this podcast," and she plays it.
I didn't even think of dragging it down like that, but that's genius.
Oh, did I make it too small? I can't see our little thingy.
There you go.
Oh, I guess that works too. Maybe a little smaller. Okay. Okay, guys. So this is our Twitch stream for all you podcast, Spotify, Apple listeners out there. So just a casual reminder: if this sounds a little bit different than normal, that is why. We're not just talking to random people in the stratosphere.
I feel the need to say cool cats and kittens at the end of everything like that.
Hey, you cool cats and kittens. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about the Georgia Guidestones. So are these Guidestones on the map? As I mean, like, can you like see them on a map? Yes, you can. So you can also visit them. So gonna go into this.
It's really pretty. If you look up pictures and stuff, like
it is really cool.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
I need to get like either wear my contacts or change something with my glasses because I really hate how reflective my glasses are.
Mine off.
But I can't. But if I do this, I literally would have to do this. You ready? I would literally have to read it like this to see.
That's why when I'm presenting, I'll leave my glasses on. But I'm not presenting, so I can be glassesless.
So, I'm sorry. Maybe next time.
Oh, on the folklore.
Oh, on the map. No, they are not on the map. I found these because I don't actually know how I discovered these, but now that I have, it's pretty crazy.
I don't even know what the one for Georgia is.
It looks like it's some kind of Loch Ness monster or something.
It looks like Nessie, kind of, but
it's kind of weird.
I don't know.
So anyway, I will be the first to say I have never heard of the Georgia Guidestones.
I had not.
Never heard of them in my entire life. They're older than either one of us, but I've never heard of them.
And not in the country.
Yeah, not in the country of Georgia, in the state.
Upset about that.
So that was the first thing I put in the notes, was to clarify that we were talking about the state of Georgia, not the country of Georgia. But to be honest, it kind of felt a little weird that it was like this thing was in like the United States. Like it felt a little strange.
And we don't know about it.
Yeah, like it's not like super common knowledge.
I don't want to say ashamed because I don't feel like any one person is going to know every single thing about everything.
But this feels like it's such a big thing that people should know about.
And I've been to Georgia like a good chunk, and I've never heard of it. Never seen it.
I've been to Georgia once, and it was to Atlanta for a work trip.
I've been to Atlanta a couple of times. I've been to Valdosta, and other places, and I've never heard it.
Well, we're all going to learn about it today. So, for those of you like me and Bethany that had no idea this existed, I'm going to give you a little info. I like to give back info. I'm going to give you some useless facts about this place. So, let me set the stage. Okay. And we're going to jump back to the year 1882, way before they were put up, but 1882, Alberton, Georgia was trying to get on like the up and up. Like they were trying to like build the city. And for the past 100 years, the area had just been growing and expanding. Like more people had started like residing there, moving. Just it had been growing. Now, they also claim to be the first place in Georgia to put up a Christmas tree.
Oh. Okay.
And in the 1800s, a huge granite deposit was found in the area. And it wasn't long before there was like a granite quarry, basically, that sold stone all around the area. So like they were just kind of like a regional granite distributor.
A lot of stuff was being built with it.
Yeah. So because of this, and then they started expanding, and then the railroad came to town.
Oh yeah.
And that connected everything. So next thing you know, the granite business exploded, and they took on the self-proclaiming title of the granite capital of the world, which isn't super far off. I mean, they probably are, but that's what they call themselves. Now, during the Great Depression, one man stood out as the biggest granite seller. He was a man named B.F. Coggins, and he owned most of the quarries and was like the person to deal with when you wanted to purchase granite. Like, he just owned everything. And it wasn't long before most of the city itself was built with the granite. Like, a lot of the buildings have like foundations or pillars or just different like major things using
monuments. Like, so a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't talk about the fact that like one of the first things they did was put up a giant Confederate monument, but they did. So
made from
the granite.
Yeah.
But now the city continued to surround itself with the granite, and because of this, they kind of just became like the heart of the county. They weren't like Elberton. Like, it wasn't the biggest city in the county at all, but like it just kind of became like this hub because of the granite.
It had the most business, basically.
And eventually, in the 1900s, just because they wanted to show how much the granite contributed to the city, they actually had a football stadium, and when they had to replace the seats, they replaced all the seats with granite. So it's just like granite benches.
That sounds so uncomfortable.
Doesn't it? And they like to hold the title of like one of the most unique stadiums,
awesome.
But it sounds horrible to me.
You go to Tuscaloosa, that's the one even though I don't like Alabama, but if you go to Tuscaloosa, they have the little comfy fold down ones.
Oh yeah,
those are nice. Not granite.
Mm-hmm.
That makes my butt literally hurts thinking about that.
Mine does too. When we go to this concert in Baton Rouge for Garth Brooks. I know already. Yeah, I had to think about it. You can tell I'm not a fan.
Right?
I bet it is cold in the winter.
Yeah.
I bet it. Oh god.
Imagine your butt cheek. Well, you wouldn't be out there like in shorts.
But still,
think if your butt cheek got stuck to that.
But can you imagine how hot it would be in the summer on your butt cheeks?
Ew.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, because the heat.
Absolutely not. That sounds miserable.
That sounds like when you're bougie and you just want to spend money and you just don't even think about it in the long run. You're like, by golly, let's do it.
Yeah,
and then
we'll deal with the repercussions later. So in 1979, this is when our story gets started. So 1979, a man named R.C. Christian.
Okay, this is a lot later than I was thinking. I was thinking this was hundreds of years ago.
No, baby, this is super recent.
1979.
Yes. So in 1979, a man named R.C. Christian, or Robert Christian, visited the town and went straight to a place called the Elberton Granite Finishing Company to speak with the owner about a project.
Okay.
He stated that he was here on behalf of an organization that he was a part of. And he admitted that this group was a group of loyal Americans and that he chose his name, R.C. Christian, to represent the types of people that they were. Okay? They wanted to erect a stone that was inscribed with information for future generations. He claimed that more stones would be going up all around the country, with this one in the middle.
But Georgia's not in the middle.
But this stone is the center stone, and then other stones are going to be put around it.
A circle around it. Okay.
So he says that these would be, quote, put up by other like-minded conservation groups. Okay?
Conservation. Okay. This is giving me 10 Commandment vibes.
Oh, very good early intuition calling out, okay?
Or what were we talking about where the farmer found the alien stone or whatever? Do you remember? The 48 stone or the 48 tablets.
What?
We did an episode. Am I having a fever dream?
What are you talking about?
Was it Roswell? Where the farmer said he dug up the stones and it was
Yes.
weird alien
Yes.
language.
Yes.
But it was him and he did it with a drill.
Yes.
Because he said it was 100 years old and they figured it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that. I was like, what are you talking about?
I thought I was crazy for a second.
So, this guy admitted that R.C. Christian was not his real name.
Oh, really?
But the weird thing is that local bank president Wyatt C. Martin claimed that he knew his real name, but that he would take it to the grave. So remember this name, R.C. Christian, and remember Wyatt C. Martin. Both are very important. In this documentary that I found, I'll be completely honest, I thought I had finished all the research for this. And then I found a documentary on YouTube.
Earlier today, yeah.
Like I had that was horrible grammar. I had done most of the research. I had done most of the research for this and had like most of it written probably like earlier in the week. I was just writing it during work, like anytime I was on a break at work. Let me tell you, today I found this documentary and I had to change everything because it was like a new revelation. So anyway,
it changed
everything.
The whole thing.
It changed everything. Everything that I thought I knew about these dang stones. I was going to give y'all a very straightforward, like, this is what it is. Nope. Changed everything. So in this documentary, it's called Dark Clouds Over Eberton. Okay? And in this, this bank president recalls that R.C. Christian told him that he chose the name because that's what he and his group were. Christians. Okay?
Okay.
Important to remember. Important to remember that. The president of the granite company, Joe Finley, thought that Christian was kind of crazy and honestly probably really and truly thought that he was just having his leg pulled. Like, this dude's trying to pull my leg. He wants to build these giant stones in the middle of nowhere and whatever. It's also important to remember, hey James, it's also important to remember that the granite company, they did not sell wholesale stones. Like, they only sold to big companies who then sold to other companies. Yeah. So you could not just walk into this place and say, hey, I want to buy a stone. Like, you can't do that. They don't sell them that way.
I would like one stone, please.
Which, in the documentary, they said they had people drive in and be like, thinking that they could get the stone cheaper. So they would be like, can I buy this big chunk of granite for, like, my future headstone? And they were like, no, you can't do that. Like, that's not how it works.
I wasn't even thinking headstones. But
they said that was, like, the number one thing.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
So, they probably thought he was crazy. While trying to talk Christian out of this idea of pursuing the, like, insane idea about this project, he quoted him and told him that the cost was going to be, like, just told him, like, just whatever.
It's really
heavy. It is very heavy. And that's another thing they said in the documentary was that after, like, cost of transporting it to where you wanted it to be, oftentimes it was more expensive to buy it there wholesale than it was to buy it from somebody
the big trucks, obviously.
Yeah, they were like, it just wasn't cost effective. But Joe Finley just kind of like spitballed a number because he originally told him he wanted all of these stones that they were going to be, 16 feet tall. There are all these specifications. He's like, I don't know. He's like, it's going to be $30,000-$40,000.
Yeah.
Okay? So, without a doubt at that, which was a gross over-exaggeration, he just spitballed a really high number. Christian was like, okay, let's do it. Come to find out that it was going to cost, in all actuality, much more than that.
Oh, my Lord. Who just asked that?
Yeah. And so the R.C. Christian was a little upset about that, but they eventually worked it out where they were able to come to a good price. Now, not long after everything was settled, the granite company got to work on these stones. And Christian wanted them to go up in a very rural place that was away from tourists. He said this was not to be a tourist attraction. So he purchased a piece of land from a local family that was about 5 acres big and just gave Finley the exact building instructions with a model, like a to-scale model. And he said, this is what I want them to look like, and this is what I want them to say. Told him everything. Now, there was going to be 6 stones in the whole grouping, and originally, instead of a flat stone on top, there was going to be a pyramid, but because of cost, they had to make it a flat stone. There are 4 that stand straight up, and then there's a tall, like, balancing, like, stone in the middle, and then there's, like, a flat piece that goes on top and covers all 4 of them. And the stones are kind of, like, there's, like, one sideways, and then there's, like, this, and then another one like this. So there's...
It kind of looks like an entryway, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, you could kind of go, like, there's these 2 side slats, and it looks like you could
kind of walk in between them, yeah. Now, the family that sold this land to him, they still retained grazing rights for their cows and their other animals.
Yeah.
They still retained them because he said that that was an important part of making sure that the land was taken care of and the land was grazed and blah, 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 blah. Now, in total, all the pieces weigh nearly 120 tons and stands over 19 feet tall. So it's pretty darn big.
Good God.
So Christian had very specific instructions for what he wanted them to look like and say. And because he didn't give them, he gave them what he wanted to say, but it required some translating, they actually had to kind of like contract and get help from some of the other stuff. So they actually enlisted the help of the United Nations in order to get some of the stuff that they wanted that he wanted engraved on it, translated for them. So
was it just not like easily translated into English, or?
Yes and no, and I'll get there. It was just a little teaser for you. So less than a year after Christian presented the idea for the stones, it was finally time to reveal them. So from the time that he came in there and said, hey, I want these built in June, they finished them and were unveiling them in March of the next year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So March 1980 is when they were unveiled, and Christian walked away from the project completely and gave ownership of that land to the county. Because he said that by giving the ownership of the land to the county, that's the longest institution that he could think that would be around for like hundreds of years that wouldn't ever dissolve and they would lose that property.
It's weird.
It's very weird. It gets weirder.
Oh.
Okay. So once they were revealed, people started viewing them, and immediately, theories and speculation about their true purpose went into.
Are you going to talk about where they got the money for this? Or
no, but it's not really. But when you find out more things, you'll kind of figure out.
$60,000 for a stone? For a stone that you don't even own, that you just... I'm stuck on that part.
Well, it's a group of people, of like-minded conservationists, who have put their money together to build this monument.
I love the planet, and... But the way my bank account is set up...
I ain't got that kind of money. We were looking at houses before this.
Yeah, we were.
So that's where my money's going.
Yeah.
So anyway, everyone started just, trying to figure out what was going on. Now, off to the side of the main stones, okay, there is another slab. It's just like a giant slab that's like laid into the ground. Okay, so you can walk up to it, and it kind of just basically tells you info and stats about the big stones. So at the very top of it, it says the Georgia Guidestones.
So it's like a little marker.
Yeah, it's like a marker.
When you go to a museum, it's like, this is about this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. So there's like a square, and it's a rectangle. At the top it says the Georgia Guidestones. And then it says center cluster erected March 22nd, 1980. And underneath that, there's an outline of like a square, okay? And it's surrounded on all 4 sides in a different language. and it's showing that the top stone that sits on top of the
in the middle.
In the middle, it says something. I didn't write it in my notes, and I know I flippin' should have, but it says something about the age of reason.
Okay.
I don't remember what it says, but either way, it says something about the age of reason, and all four sides, it has that term or that phrase written in Babylonian, Classical Greek, Sanskrit, and ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. Okay, so that's written on the top four sides. Let's pause for a second and tell you what it says, because I feel like that's going to be very important. So, sorry.
I wonder why those specific languages.
I mean
Babylonian.
Yeah.
I get.
I don't really have an answer for it, but I would say they are the basis of a lot of our languages now. Like, they're the root of a lot of our languages, so they can be used to discover more languages.
The coolest would be the I can never say it. Hieroglyphics.
Yes. Okay, so it says, let these be guidestones to an age of reason.
Okay.
Okay, and it says that's what it says in like classic Greek on each side. Okay.
That's kind of cool.
It is, to me. It's very
cool. That's cool.
Now, on to the left side of the big flat stone that's off to the side, the great marker.
I'm trying to remember it in my head. I think I remember.
There is mention of a time capsule that was buried underneath this stone. However, it doesn't have a date for when the time capsule was placed, nor does it have a date for it to be dug up. So no one's really sure that if anything was actually buried there or what. It just looks like they wanted to do it, but they never got around to it.
I always feel like time capsules would be like, this is terrible to say, I promise I'm not a serial killer, but if you were a serial killer, would it not be smart to like put like a note or like some kind of something
in a time capsule?
Terrible. I know it sounds really bad, but that could be.
That'd be a great way.
Is that already a movie?
There was an episode of Bones where somebody was in a time capsule.
I think that's why I remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I always think about.
Because normally they're like, what, 20, 30 years? There's some that are like a little bit longer. That'd be wild.
Now, on the other side, there, or still on that left-hand side, there also documents that R.C. Christian was the author of the project and that his name is a pseudonym. They also misspell pseudonym on the thing. It ends with an N instead of an M like it's supposed to. It's very weird. And they list the sponsors as a small group of Americans who seek the age of reason. Interestingly enough, this side also details the astronomical, that's the right word, like having to do with space, astronomical.
I would misspell it too. I can't even
think of how else I would say it. I'd definitely misspell pseudonym. Astronomical, like, not like huge, but like in space, like how it has to do with astronomy. Is that still the right word?
Like interstellar?
No. Like, okay, don't even worry about it. I feel like astronomical is the right word, but it probably isn't.
Astronomical is like...
It's big.
Like
it's
vast,
huge.
big, huge.
But it's how it connects with the planets and time and like space and Earth moving around the sun.
Oh, autocorrect. You should see my messages to Krystle. After a while, I'm like, I give up because I'll be texting her and it'll be like, it said something weird the other day.
And it wouldn't let you change it.
And I was like, I did not say that. And I was like, what? That's not even close to the word. I was like,
so
what?
Ignore me if that's not the right word. I'm so sorry. But it features how the sun going through certain parts of the stones can mark time throughout the year. Does that make sense?
Oh.
Does that help with the word?
The little dial.
Like a sundial, but it's not necessarily a sundial. Part of it is, but not all of it. Anyway, to the right on that big stone is the specifications for how tall each one is and how much they all weigh. Okay, so it just basically lists everything.
So they were purposely certain. That's why they kind of look like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's just like the rough edge of the granite, but there is a very like it does detail
That's
how much each one
exactly
is.
what I was thinking. I was thinking the Aztecs.
Yeah.
Or like the almanac.
Yes. I mean, it's very, very similar to that. It's just not as detailed as, like, maybe the Aztecs did it.
Yeah.
But very same mindset.
It's honestly kind of amazing how the Aztecs did everything and how close and just, like, their culture and everything. It's kind of scary to me also because it's like how...
You know, technically right now we're living in the year 2014 because we've lost a couple of months and we took months away. And so technically we live in the year 2014. But we just say it's the year 2020 because we took away months.
I actually read it. Krystle has...
I corrupted you.
I keep getting on Reddit. Why? Reddit used to scare me. Reddit used to be the place. I'm judging here. I'm not this way anymore. But I used to think Reddit was for all the weirdos, which Krystle is a weirdo. But there's so many people that truly believe the Aztec people were visited by aliens, and that's how they know everything, and they just were like able to communicate and coexist with them, and I kind of believe it.
I kind of think, I'm kind of on like the opposite, not really the opposite, but I kind of feel like the Aztecs and like early native cultures in general all over the world were just much more intelligent than we give them credit for.
Or like in tuned with
nature
the
and
earth and reading signs and oh my god, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's some people that would just say stuff, but
it's definitely a place that you have to fact check everything. 100%. But I do think that they were just a little bit more in tune and more like, I don't know, I just feel like they were more advanced than we give them credit for.
I have not heard of that Reddit
I can't do Reddit after the dad that lost his marriage because of his kid liking dogs. I don't get that.
I have not heard that one. That sounds very tame.
I don't know.
I feel like we're missing something from that story.
Oh. Anyway, if you walk over to the stones themselves, oh God, that's horrible. I'm not going to, I guess I could read it for the people listening at home. She said in the biblical sense that his kid liked dogs. Nope, absolutely not.
First off, Daisy would bite it off.
So, okay, redirect. If we walked over to the stones, you will find that there are 8 different languages written on them, one on each side of the stones. And yes, they have really massive freaking cities.
I've not heard of that.
Yes, like all over South America. Like Machu. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Like how Machu Picchu is like one of like the biggest, most well-known ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like cities where Aztecs and Mayan Indians lived.
I told you about that TikTok that they said possibly could be Bigfoot, where there's these types of... Okay, TikTok truly be out there teaching me and Krystle a lot more than school did.
100%.
Supposedly, there's this type of... I can't remember if it was ape or gorilla.
I don't remember.
But Homo sapien, same thing. And they bury their dead just like how we bury. And that's how technically we kind of know about them, but we don't necessarily know them and haven't studied them. And there's a few people on TikTok that believe that this type of, Homo sapien could be Bigfoot. And we just never seen them. So that's the same, like all these different cultures and stuff that know.
Hey, we have a first-time viewer.
Yes, thanks for joining us.
Our first-time chatter.
Hello. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
That's really cool.
Which could
totally explain Bigfoot. But again, why are we talking... We're off topic. But
we were talking about Aztecs.
Yes, we are. I don't know how we got there. We went from Aztecs to Bigfoot. This is a day in our life. So there's 8 different languages, and if you walk around, you will see the same message written in all 8 languages.
Still like Greek, Babylonian?
No. It's English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, traditional Chinese, and Russian. Hey, Hannah.
Oh, hi. Oh, so we know.
I know.
Oh, hi. Welcome.
Someone that I know.
Welcome, Hannah.
So the message is a list of rules or guidelines, and I'm going to read them to you. Okay? And then we'll discuss them if we need to. So, number 1, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. 2, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. 3, unite humanity with a living new language. 4, rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. 5, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Makes sense?
I mean, this is all sounding
pretty great, right?
Yeah.
Avoid petty laws and useless officials. 8, balance personal rights with social duties. 9, prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. I really like that one.
I like that one.
And number 10, my personal favorite, be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. And an emphasis, leave room for nature.
Ooh, I like that.
I really like
it.
Okay? I really like all of them. I'm even the maintaining humanity under 500 million, I forever and always will be a proponent of reducing our population,
just because of how much I've been called a hippie in my life.
Yes, so. I love all of them. I personally love all of them. Now, at the very end of this, if you love all of them,
oh God, is it gonna sway?
I'm very conflicted because I know how this ends, but I still love these guidelines at the core. But I am just gonna spoil kind of. You might not like why they were written.
Okay, but is it like in the beginning it was really good and it was for...
No, it was always horrible. They were written with... Yes.
I was so hopeful.
I'm just going to tell you. It's not good. It's not good.
Dang.
So the center stone has a couple of holes drilled into it so that you can interact with space. There's a hole that is perfectly drilled, so if you look through it, you'll be able to see Polaris or the North Star. And there's also a slit in the stone that allows you to calculate or be able to see the shortest and longest days of the year. So having these parts of the stones would allow humanity to figure out the calendar and the compass if those were lost. It's like June 21st and December 21st. Yeah. So you could set your calendar by that. So if we lost a calendar, we would at least have something to move back to. Now, it wasn't long, like I said, after these stones went up that theories about them started to circulate. Some people pointed out that the area that R.C. Christian selected for these stones was very close to a Cherokee site called, I'm going to butcher this, and I have practiced this like 15 times because I wanted to make sure I got this right. So if I say it slow, that is why. Ayeli Alohi.
That sounded beautiful.
It's very beautiful. That's why I wanted to make sure I spelled it right.
I feel like you said that right. Spot
on. Now, if you're familiar with the Trail of Tears, which I feel like most of us aren't as educated as we should be about the Trail of Tears. I feel like most of us got like...
I went back and retaught myself.
I did too. I retaught myself the Trail of Tears. But if you're not...
I had to reteach myself Columbus, so...
Yeah, I retaught myself a lot of dang history.
Which is
how you should do it, really.
Fine.
You may know then that the Cherokee people were one of just several native populations that were forced off their lands and made to march like 1,000 miles to Oklahoma.
Which is the tribe that people like to say,
I have a Cherokee grandma.
Yeah.
My grandma was a Cherokee princess. Okay, whatever. This meant, though, that a lot of native sites were no longer cherished by the populations living around them.
I'm not gonna lie.
And cities were built around them.
When you were telling me that they bought farmland, I was sitting there thinking...
They bought native land?
Well, like, not even that. Like, did they research that land? Did they...
Well, the land just belonged to a family.
But
and then they didn't really do anything else.
Or, like...
Now, I do know...
there before,
I do know that the land that they picked wasn't the first location that he wanted. He actually wanted a land further south from Elberton. But... something happened and he couldn't get it, so he picked this other spot.
Or do you think they purposely did this?
I don't know. I don't know one way or other. I really don't. Now, bank president, remember him, Wyatt Martin, tells a slightly different story. He claims that the creation of the stones were meant to give guidelines to humanity if a nuclear apocalypse happened.
I didn't get that vibe from it. Did it mention anything?
You have to consider the state of the world at the time. This
70s.
does make a lot of sense. Russia and the U.S. were at war, or not really, I guess you could call them at war, and there were threats of nuclear attacks all the time. And people were just living in constant fear of that.
We had Hiroshima.
Yeah. So the residents of Elberton County are kind of split on their opinions of the stones then and today.
I would also like to clarify that was a nervous laugh. I wasn't laughing at Hiroshima. I know it was very bad. I nervous laugh a lot.
Some feel that it's just an interesting part of their city, and others believe that it's connected to witchcraft and witches in the area are drawn to it to perform rituals. Some just believe crazy things. The birds are spying us. Oh, always. Yeah. The birds are spying on us.
All those people on TikTok, that's a literal trend right now on TikTok.
Hold on, what was I?
Kill John Lennon.
Hold on. I was literally, I don't know if it has to do with this or something else that I was studying. Oh my gosh, what was it? It was this. I'm pretty sure, I'm not having a fever dream either, but I'm pretty sure I was researching this, and the area that's around this area, or where this is at, there used to be this type of pigeon that was so heavily, that they clustered together so tightly, and there were so many of them that they would black out parts of, like, the land, because they were so tightly clustered together. And when the native population moved and people started hunting them, they completely eradicated this whole species of pigeon, and the last one died in like the 1970s in the zoo.
That's crazy.
Isn't that insane?
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's a little. See, I told you this episode was going to be full of useless facts. So,
I mean, she did mention this a couple months ago, so you've probably been like slowly reading.
I have been. I've been like doing all kinds of stuff, because when I found this, I went down the rabbit hole, but then I found the flipping documentary this morning and was like, oh my god, this changes everything. Well,
you mentioning glitch makes me think, when we were on our girls trip, we were literally sitting outside around the fire.
Oh god.
And we kept seeing this. It was a drone. It was a drone.
I still don't know if it was a drone, or could it have been the Starlink? Or was it too low to be Starlink?
It was too low and too little. Me and Steph physically, like, when you went back inside, it got closer to me and Steph. And, like, it was, like, smaller and white and had a red and green light on it.
Oh, I didn't see any color.
And you know how bad my eyes are. So
I did not see any color. I'm so glad I went inside.
But we were, like, we had literally been just talking about, like, simulation and how we might be in this simulation and what we would do. And then this freaking drone starts flying at us. And we're, like, in the middle of a small town in Arkansas. Why would there be
a drone?
It made me think, Krystle, is there something big by us? Or, like, is there, like...
There wasn't. We were, like, 45 minutes from town.
Yeah, like, we had to drive almost an hour to town.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that made me think of it.
It was still nice being that far out.
It was nice, even though we almost got attacked by an armadillo.
Yes, Bethany and I did. Jesus.
That thing was not afraid of us.
No, it wasn't.
It circled us.
Like, all I remember is I'm standing there, and Bethany goes... Something's moving. Something's coming.
There's something behind the tractor. I keep hearing it. I said, I'll
turn
keep
around,
an eye on it.
And it's pitch black. The only light we have are these little lights that they have hanging above us, and the campfire. And I don't see anything. And next thing I know, I think it's a bunny. And I was like, oh, it's a bunny. No.
I said, Krystle, get up. It's coming at you.
And it was just, it was making noises.
It charged at us.
Yeah, and I was just
not
like,
afraid of
and the next thing I know, Stephanie comes out, and I'm like, we're going in. Get your stuff. We're going in.
Anytime I've seen an armadillo, they roll up in a ball. They're afraid of us.
Oh, this one wasn't.
That's their protective, their cover.
And then we looked at the reviews, and people were talking about cats and dogs animals. And, like, all these sweet animals coming and visiting them. And I'm like, no, we got an armadillo.
I was like, we got a rabid, rabies-infested armadillo.
We didn't need... Did we even have food out there? Probably.
Yeah, we had s'mores. We were making s'mores.
Oh, yeah, we were making s'mores.
He might have wanted it. He might have been hungry. Now I feel bad.
No, don't feel bad. That thing was attacking us.
But he literally circled us. He walked a perfect circle looking at us.
And I was like, it's time to go in.
He was like, try something.
And then the next night, that's when I brought the music out there, because I was hoping the music would scare it away. But then something else came up. What was it?
Oh, it was a bunny.
It was a bunny. Yeah, the second night we had a
bunny. We did see a bunny. That was cute.
That was fun. That was okay.
Yeah, the armadillo's not playing.
I just wanted the dog and the cat because that sounded
fun.
fun.
We did not see that.
Jeez.
Oh, we saw deer.
Yeah, y'all saw deer. I didn't see the deer.
There's a whole family of deer.
I wanted to see them. Oh well, we loved it. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Auntie Way. So yes, think about that.
I know, and they were good s'mores too.
They were.
We got the jumbo marshmallows.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like the first 5 minutes after we made those s'mores, nobody talked because we were just enjoying it.
They were so big.
They were big and they were good. And then we were also really dumb. I'm just gonna tell on ourselves. We went scavenging for sticks to put our marshmallow on. Okay, and tell me why. We went in the house and they had a whole kit
for s'mores. They had nice sticks.
No, even better. I spent like an hour trying to get this fire started and was literally on my hands and knees with like leaves and small sticks blowing, trying to light.
I mean, we were roughing it. Yeah, we were making a cowgirl fire.
Okay, Stephanie goes inside and there
was a cute little basket.
Yeah, there was a whole basket of everything you needed for like
to start a fire, keep a fire going.
Everything.
S'more sticks, like really nice metal ones.
However, if I was a Boy Scout, I would have got my badge. Mm-hmm. We all would have gotten a badge that weekend.
We had a good fire for a couple of hours.
Yeah, so I got a badge out of it. Anyway. Back to the content. Sorry for the rambling. So, in the documentary, there's mention of a lot of graffiti that appears on the stones, like all the time. And,
Bonicula, I haven't heard that in a long time.
And that Martin, the bank manager, bank president, had been receiving mail from like official witchcraft groups, like Witches of America and stuff like that. Now, they would use this graffiti because they would post like the pentagram and like all kinds of stuff and like stuff just graffitied all over it.
Pentagram is not even a bad thing.
It's not even. No, it's not. It's literally.
It can be.
It can be, but it's not. Now, I am 99% sure that while they seem to fully buy into this, it doesn't make sense to me because all it feels like is something that a bunch of local teenagers did in order to scare people and like to hype it up. Like, I'm sorry, I really don't think a bunch of witches are going to go out there and spray paint and do seances around these stones.
And even like from the beginning, it doesn't look like anything scary.
It doesn't. And I really think it's probably teenagers going out there to just scare tactic. And I'm pretty sure, I'm just confident on this, I feel like somebody talked about this and kind of got like this lore of being a witchcraft and witchy and satanic, and to like make it funny, somebody signed up this guy for these magazines to get delivered to his house. Like it just seems like something funny.
They might just think it's strange, like this random plot of land, this people put this random stone and then they just leave town.
Yeah, it's weird. It is kind of weird.
Odd.
So I get it. Now, this is a little weird part, and this is probably going to get me hate on YouTube. So I'm sorry in advance for the hate comment.
Oh, my Lord.
But I have to. Hey, Jerry. You're,
thanks for joining.
You're at a good spot, because we're going to talk about the conspiracy theories of these stones. If you would like to know what we're talking about, Georgia Guidestones, just do a little quick Google, and you can
Is Georgia, like, the state?
Georgia the state, not Georgia the
Don't be like
country.
me.
She thought it was a country.
I thought it was the country.
So, see, I thought no one signed me up for. Like,
I would like that. That would be
I would
cool.
like them, but I would be annoying if you just like got like, because he said he got like a whole bunch of marketing for it, like all the time.
Childish. Like, is it gonna be cute witches in it?
Yeah.
Am I gonna get to see women?
Like, what is it? But I don't understand. But anyway, so, in the early 2000s, a man named Mark Dice, he went viral under the name John Cooper, about how he feels the Guidestones are nothing more than 10 satanic commandments, and he demanded that they were torn down. He claimed that they were part of the New World Order.
Yeah. Mental note.
To send us subscriptions. He said that they were part of the New World Order, and that R.C. Christian was a member of the Order of the Rose. Now, after my David Pilates, however you say his name, David Pilates comment, you would think I would learn my lesson, but this dude, Mark Dice, is like the worst version of conspiracy theorist. I'm pretty sure you know.
I can't believe I've never heard of this.
So he is a far-right conservative commentary person that does YouTube videos now. Like, he went by John Cooper, wrote this whole thing called the Something Manifesto, and published it.
Okay.
And then he eventually came out as Mark Dice, and now he has like this commentary show. He does his business, like that's like his thing.
See, that's what okay, I'm not crazy. Yeah. That's what they're called, the Children of the Corn. They're the Order of the Rose.
Oh, that's kind of creepy.
I wonder if that's why Stephen King named it that.
I don't know. Anyway, he pushes, in my opinion, again, my whole opinion, he just pushes a lot of theories that actively hurt people. And I'm pretty sure you and I both feel that way. Like, conspiracy theories are all fun and games until they hurt someone.
I've probably seen his stuff. I'm just really bad with names.
Yeah.
I don't remember names.
I knew his face, and then when I talked to my brother about it, who was, like, super into, like, politics of, like, just full spectrum, he was like, oh, yeah, I know who he is. Like, I've heard his name. And then he showed me a video where we make fun of people all the time, but that's beside the point. But he showed me, and I was like, oh, I know exactly who that is. But he has a lot of like conspiracy theories like that hurt people, just like hurt populations, hurt people.
I've never heard of him either. Thank God I'm not the only one.
Oh, the only reason I heard, and I'm not even on YouTube, but I think, to be completely honest, this is too much information, but Kansas watches this video that, like, he showed it to me, and basically they're very neutrally political, so they'll, like, take these really funny YouTube videos from, like, far left and far right and everybody in between, like, making political commentaries, and they'll animate them, and then they just do really funny stuff with these animated versions, and, like, they just, it's like, completely YouTube, like, weird YouTube, but it just makes fun and makes light of the situation, basically. Okay. And so Kansas watches those every once in a while, and so he showed them to me, and that's the only reason I know about this guy. But again, I have no problem with him. I don't know him from Adam, but
he's a little extreme.
He's a little extreme to the part where he's, like, actively just pushing things I know good and well he doesn't believe. He's just doing it for views and attention.
Those are the people I don't like.
Like, he's just, YouTube. Like, he's literally just doing it for you. And I watched a couple, he's literally just doing it for views.
Yeah. He's found something that can make him money.
Yes, so. And that's 100% what it is. So, this is not my, apparently people like to say on YouTube, because I don't agree with David Pilates, and I think he's crazy that I'm wrong for that, but whatever. So,
and that we're young girls.
Yeah, that we're young girls.
I have not been called a girl in a long time.
But it was a compliment. So if you're watching this again, person, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, bring on the hate comments, because I said this guy actively hurts people and he's kind of a douchebag. I'm sorry. You can talk about your political view without being a douchebag. Anyway,
freedom and speech.
I saw Adam go on a podcast and get destroyed. He reads scripts, doesn't really know the info. Adam who? Adam. I don't know who Adam is.
He's probably talking about the person you're talking about, but said Adam, maybe?
I don't know. James, you have to clarify, because I feel like I should know, but I don't.
Or maybe because you said I don't know him from Adam.
Oh, maybe. That's a great thing. That's great. Anyway, oh, Adam ruins everything. Oh, yeah. He's interesting as a person, too. A lot of what I append. Oh, I didn't say Adam ruins everything. But I do watch him. He just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. He does kind of do the same thing. Adam ruins everything is very like, oh, podcast. I'm going to tell you why podcasts have a racist history, or why podcasts are ruining future generations, and it's like literally like depressing.
How dare we talk about feelings?
Like, it's just very depressing, and I'm just like, why do I want to listen to this? Anyway, so now that all the hate comments are going to be directed towards me, Mark Dice demanded that these stones be smashed into a million pieces and then just be done with. Like, he said they had no purpose on the earth, that they were just horrible, and they were part of, like, the Antichrist, and they were the Antichrist commandments. They were the antithesis of the Ten Commandments.
What on it says that?
I honestly don't know. This, to me, is the most controversial of the theories because it just, to me, doesn't make sense. I very much tried. That was horrible grammar as well. I tried really hard to figure out how he was, like, understanding this. Like, what he was thinking about in order to make the comment that these were the 10 satanic commandments.
Maybe because it said we're all equal and, treat the earth right and stuff. And there's some people that don't see...
Why would you not treat the earth right? But anyway.
Well, because...
I don't know.
There's some... I'm not calling out... Maybe I am calling out Christianity. But there's some people that, like, if you're not Christian, they don't think you're the same as them.
But there was nothing about religion on those commandments.
I think it's because it said that, like, you should all have that, ideology.
It says unite humanity with a living language, rule with passion, faith, tradition, all of these things with tempered reason. So think about them analytically. They shouldn't rule. They should have analytically.
I think maybe because it mentions faith.
I mean, but think about
it. There's so many different religions.
Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. How can that be a satanic commandment? How can avoid petty laws and useless officials? Balancing personal rights with social duties. Leave room for nature and be not a cancer of the earth. Like, how can
Exactly, it's good. It's just normal, good human rules.
Like, I can understand the maintaining humanity under 500 million and guiding reproduction wisely.
This is giving me vibes. You remember back when we were teenagers and they thought the Monster energy drink can...
Oh, God. Was it 666?
Was 666.
Same energy. Same energy.
And I was like, what?
Yes, it's not satanic at all.
I didn't get that vibes. Like, when you were reading off what it said, it was kind of commandment-ish. Like, it makes me think of the 10 Commandments.
Yes, and you said that.
But they walk out, like, literally walking out with these stones and saying, this is how we're going to live our life. And that's how the 10 Commandments were. Yeah.
It just feels like a little bit of a...
With a random burning bush in the back.
It just feels like a little extreme. Anyway, so a few years after they were unveiled, Robert Christian... R.C. Christian, published a book called Common Sense Renewed. And I'm going to warn everybody, this is when I get kind of theological / giving everybody a history lesson. Okay. So I'm sorry in advance. It literally, I can't not do it. I felt like I was writing a research paper.
Hit us with it.
So this is a reference to a pamphlet written by Thomas Paine in 1776. And called Common Sense. Most of us had to read it in school or in college or read at least an excerpt of it. But in his book, Christian details how the world suffers from overpopulation and that it has created much of the issues that we have today, like world hunger. Well, Thomas Paine doesn't really talk about that a lot, much as like this Common Sense Renewed book does. And he basically just argues that once we get, or until we get control of the world's population and how many people live in it and how we take care of the earth, the planet and the people live on it are just going to have more and more issues. Like, the earth is going to get worse.
That's such a sensitive topic with people.
It is.
Because I agree.
I do too.
But I'm never going to be like,
you don't have kids.
Children. Yeah,
like, it's hard. It's definitely, and I get that. And he continues to say, takes it to a step further and says that in this book, that until the government has control over, like, how people reproduce, that it's never going to get done. Like, the only way that it's ever going to fix itself, like how we're going to fix population and fix the earth, is if the government controls. Don't agree with that.
I would not do that.
Don't agree with that. No, I can understand, like, incentivizing somebody to not have children. I completely, just because I can incentivize, I understand incentivizing having children. But it's conflicting. And I expand on this reasoning later, so don't, like, judge me for what I'm saying. Like, that's kind of a personal opinion. But, like, I don't agree with the government controlling, saying you can't have a baby. You can have a baby. You can only have one baby. I don't agree with that.
It's tough because the first thing that comes to my mind, and my mom will probably mention it in the comments, Eli used to go to school with this family, and they were foster parents. They fostered 5 siblings from the same mother.
Oh, wow.
And she sought them out. They fostered the eldest, and she kept having children, and she was very heavily addicted to drugs, but kept having more, and then kept going to these foster parents and saying, "Will you take over my child? So they ended up
having 5.
They ended up adopting all 5.
Oh, wow.
And they're now their children.
That's
so
crazy.
Like, I feel like that's those instances he's talking about.
Well, see,
but we physically can't like control people.
And that is a part of the book. A huge part of it is about how the reason we have this overpopulation problem is that people live in poverty. And people don't have access to ways to not have children.
Oh, yeah.
So they end up having lots of children, and it creates that poverty system more. And it creates a poverty system that exceeds just past them. It kind of creates a generational poverty. So we have, this one person that had 5 kids. Well, they're going to have 5 kids. And each one of their 5 kids is going to have 5 kids. And then you kind of create this system. So I understand it. I just don't like the idea of it. Like, I don't like the idea of, like, saying you cannot have a child.
I think we both agree.
Like, I just don't like it.
Yep. And it was a big family, and the parents were together. They went to our church.
Yeah.
And it worked for them.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like, if you're going to have a million kids, that's fine.
They struggled.
Yeah.
Like, they literally wore the same clothes almost every day, and like it
and I really think at the basis for people that had this argument about that is really the argument. Like, where do you draw the line between forcing your family to live in a system of poverty where they just have the bare minimum of life because you want to have all these children versus having 2 or 3 kids and everyone having a really great life? So I mean, again, but it's personal choice. I can never stop anybody.
Me and Zach made it. We knew 2. We had 2, and we're like, this is already expensive and already a lot, like, emotional, physical, mentality-wise. It takes a lot out of you. And we're like, could we do a 3rd one?
Yeah, it's hard. It's
really hard. We're like 2.
So...
Oh, God. China.
Yeah, that backfired.
Extreme.
And that backfired for them. They had to get rid of the one child because... what they found out is people were not having children, and then people only had one child, and they have no population. I mean, if you look into China right now, they have a huge problem with the lack of, like, millennial aged and a little bit older than us people. They have nobody to do the workforce, and now they're literally paying people to have children. Just like a lot of countries, Germany, Japan, like, they are literally paying people to have children.
Would it really be so bad if people didn't have children?
Well, not really, because look right now.
Yeah,
people kill a lot of their kids trying to have a son, and they've lost a lot of their population. But that's what's happening today. Our population, at the rate that we're going now and people aren't having kids, we are facing a population decline, which arguably, is that a bad thing? Like, is it a bad thing that we are not replacing the same amount of people that are here? Like, is that a bad thing?
I just think about, like, when I was in high school, like, we had there was 500 kids in my graduating class alone. Like, graduation day sucked.
I know, be right back movement. And yeah, they literally, I looked it up for the purpose of this. They literally pay you, number one, you don't have to pay to have a child, like, at all. 2, you're giving an exorbitant amount of time off after with the job guaranteed.
That's crazy.
3, you're given a stipend depending on how much money you make to put your child in, like, daycare and schools.
Are people there just not wanting to have kids?
Well, it's just like the problem we have here among our age. A lot of people, like, our age are choosing, and younger, are choosing not to have kids. Like, I'm 30. Yeah, I'm 30, and I'm making the decision right now not to have a child. And if I never end up having a child...
I have a lot of friends that have made that decision.
I am not replacing myself, essentially. So when I die, there will be one less person that will exist.
Also, I've had a lot of friends that, like... not going to say their name. Krystle knows them, and she's come to me before, and she said that she's decided not to have children because a lot of men have come to her with the prospect of that, and all they see in their mind and in their eyes or they look at her as like a human incubator.
Yeah.
And she said, I want to have, if I do, which she does not, which I 100% support her, she doesn't want that. She wants to be more than somebody that just has a child, which I think a lot of women are struggling with that also today, because I think there are a lot of men out there that just see us as like birthing babies, which is...
I mean, and like, yeah, to be honest, like you said, being honest, I didn't want kids. My mom didn't want kids. My mom was very honest with me growing up that she loved me, but I was not what she wanted. Like, she did not want to have children. Like, children were not part of her plan.
And I was opposite. Like, I knew Zach more than me. Like, if he had his way, he wanted like 7 children. No. But yeah, and mentally, but at least for you, like, and you're making that adult conscious decision.
And that's why I feel like it's, to me, my version of population control is encouraging people who want to have children to have children, but encouraging people who have no interest in having children, saying that's okay, you don't need to have children.
Because a lot of people feel pressure. There was like a trend on TikTok last summer, I remember it, because I was like, yeah, even though I have kids, and it was like, women and like couples coming together that were child free and like in their 30s and 40s, and they said that society literally like shames them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Like, we don't all have to have kids. It's cool, like, I wanted to have a family.
And that, like James saying, I'm not mentally capable, that's totally a valid reason.
That makes you 100% a man, because there's men out there that will have children and they'll walk away and never see that child ever again.
And I know for me, it's not something,
That's also a good option.
Yeah.
We have both had conversations
about adopt, and I have said the same thing. I don't plan on ever giving birth to a child just because I just don't want to do that. And I think that I feel like if I change my decision, I change my decision. But
10 out of 10 don't recommend.
Yeah, like, I've always thought in my dream, and I've been very open with Tyler about it, my dream is to adopt an older child or even a teenager and just be like a foster home for children that are older. That's what
got us talking, because Zach came to me with the very same thing, because we talked about, like, we have
oh my god, we could have like a little foster home on
yeah.
our little farm.
And I said, well, I really can't do a newborn again. I honestly don't think I have it in me.
I don't want to do a newborn.
And just because I talked about with Krystle, I nursed both the boys, and that's really a bond that, I don't know, I couldn't give a newborn, and it really does bond you together.
Yeah.
And Zach's like, no, I want an older child, which I thought was so sweet.
Yeah, I've always just said it. I've always wanted to give a child who doesn't have all the good cards laid out in front of them. I want to be able to take a child in and say, look, I understand that I may not be your biological mother, and you do not have to call me mom.
But I'll give you a home.
Like,
and
I just
meal.
I want to give you a roof over your head. I want to make sure you have food in your belly. I want to make sure that you feel love. You understand that there's boundaries in place, and that you can enact boundaries just as fast as we can. And I want to give you a place that you feel safe at the end of the day.
Yeah.
100%. That's all I want. I want to be able to change someone's outlook on life.
Well, not all older children in the system are
well, yeah, not all older. A lot of older children.
But yeah, it is kind of scary.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't know.
But it also depends if they're a child that's been in the system since they were an infant, or if a child
they are going to be a certain type of way because they've never had.
They've never been loved, and
normalcy.
they have this guard up that everyone is a horrible person and mean and doesn't love them and doesn't want anything to do with them, and there's nothing more that I want to do than give that love. And I can completely tell you the reason why is from nannying an older child, because the girl I nannied was 9, and then getting custody of Cannon and raising the 16 to him almost being 17.
Oh, you've already got like tons of practice.
Yeah, I love that age.
Oh, Lord.
I love it.
I forgot about that
No,
movie.
we're not going to talk about Orphan. Absolutely. We are not talking about that movie. No. Okay, I need to redirect us all back to this.
Good talk, though.
Good talk. We're going to continue. So this RC Christian guy really pushed for, again, like China, single child families for several generations, and that would help this. Many felt that this statement was proof of like this new world order stuff. Now, I want to say at this point, though, that I personally feel like the documentary was a little biased. At one point, they did mention that they mentioned another book that Thomas Paine wrote called Age of Reason. Now, I had to read this one in college too. And Age of Reason is a term that's written on the stones. So, kind of connected. Now, in the documentary, they proposed the idea that Thomas Paine was someone who did not believe in God, and that it would make no sense that a man who was claiming to be a Christian would use this atheist writings and reference. Now, be clear, I am not trying to challenge the PhD that this guy that was researching and doing this documentary had. I am not trying to challenge his PhD. But I kind of am. However, in my opinion, from reading Age of Reason, from doing like research on it and kind of reading some highlights, I actually have a copy of it, it was never my interpretation from what I was taught, from what I personally got, that Thomas Paine was an atheist. In fact,
I mean, did he ever like come out and make a statement?
He did not believe in religion, but in the very first page of Age of Reason, he very clearly lays out his beliefs. And he says point blankly that he believes in God, but he does not believe in religion. And to me, that's very different. A belief in God is one thing, a belief in religion is another.
Makes me feel that he had some kind of religious trauma growing up or some part through his life.
Yes, but just hold with me. Okay. In the Age of Reason, when he outlines his beliefs, he begins by saying that he believes in one God, but does not believe in any of the world's current religions. Like, he doesn't believe in Judaism, he doesn't believe in like Roman Catholicism. He doesn't believe in any of that. And he's saying, yes, yeah. And he's saying that his church is in his head. Like, his religion is in his head. Like, his belief in God, how he carries his life, everything is in his head. Now, I get.
I feel like that's my pawpaw.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of do that too at sometimes.
He's always said, like, he very much, I mean, he was a pastor, he went to church for years, but he's always said that you don't have to be in a building to worship God. So, I mean...
And you don't have to be in a building or in a religion, in my opinion, to love God. I feel like worshiping God is something you can do by meditating and spending time with Him in nature.
Being a good person.
There's lots of different things that you can do to, like, show the love of God.
I agree.
But he says that... he goes on to say that he believes that religion is just human inventions for power and profit. And the most powerful thing that he says, in my opinion, at the very end is, I do not mean by this declaration to condemn those who believe otherwise. They have the same right to their belief as I have mine, but it is necessary to the happiness of man that he be mentally faithful to himself. Infidelity does not consist in believing or disbelieving. It consists of professing to believe what he does not believe. So, what he's saying TLDR.
You gotta have faith.
He's like saying you have to, have faith. But what you believe is your right to believe whatever you want to believe. That is your right. Just like it is my right to believe whatever I want to believe.
I feel the same.
Yeah, I do too. And to me, that is not saying that he does not believe in God.
No.
That is not saying it. Now,
I mean, atheists literally believe that there's God,
there's nothing,
and you are.
So
you.
It's also important to believe and to realize that what this whole book that Thomas Paine wrote about is very, not controversial, very critical of organized religion. And he kind of, not necessarily criticizes, but questions a lot of the validity of books in the Bible. Like, basically asking the questions that people ask that there's not always a firm answer to. And he's not claiming that it is one way or another or anything. He's just asking the questions and kind of arguing, like, why don't we have the answers to this? How are we supposed to, validate this if I don't have the answers to this? He's just being very critical. So, if you like intellectual writings, I'd suggest it because it'll have you thinking very deeply for the next eternity. But it also is important to remember that this book was written in the political context of the French Revolution.
Oh.
So you will find, though, that it feels very relevant for today because the conditions of the French Revolution are very similar to the conditions that we have today. Like the income inequality, the way that we kind of view feudalism and different groups of people, it's very, very similar. It is. And yet, James, I believe in nothing but what I can do to help my fellow people succeed. If change is to be made, it has to be made by someone. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And it's true. So, next. Honestly, though, I'll be honest, I have a very hard time trying to figure out how everything that I've said, the commandments, if you want to call them that, I have a really hard time connecting that to the New World Order and to, like, satanic beliefs. I have a very hard time with that. Personally, my favorite theory is that they were literally just built as guidelines should humanity ever have to rebuild society. Like, if we had, like, an apocalypse and we only had, like, 1,000 people left on Earth, there was these stones that would guide people into how to create a new society. Like, how to create a society that's going to last and how to, like, restart society. But if I'm being completely honest, most of the rules feel to me like things that we should be practicing in today's day and age. Like, we shouldn't be a cancer to the earth. Like, we should have just laws and no need for, like, useless laws and useless officials.
Honestly, I don't think that's ever going to happen, though, because the root of all evil is money.
Yeah, and I don't think any of this will ever happen unless we have an apocalypse and they decide to live this way.
And we just
but
wipe
it's not.
all of them out.
But it's not going to happen. But I do think that if it does, it's a great guidelines of things to prevent it from happening again. Because if we followed all these lines, like, maybe it wouldn't happen again. Maybe we wouldn't get to the point again where we had a huge apocalypse that killed off billions and billions of people. But anyway, some people also believe that there may be a connection to Mason or Rosicrucian societies. The Rosicrucian connection, though, is how people connect the RC in his name. So the Rosicrucian order was founded by Christian Rosencreuz. I butchered that, so I'm sorry. But most historians believe that he is actually a guy named Count of Saint Germain. Now, followers of, like, the Rosicrucian order would use the letter RC to signify that they were followers of the Rosicrucian order. So that's where they think that came from. So the Rosicrucian order basically took pagan beliefs from, like, ancient Egypt and combined them with Christianity. So, like, the more mystical side of paganism, they combined that with Christianity. So, like, you know how pagan beliefs that we have now are like Easter and Christmas and all these holidays, like, those are pagan beliefs. Like Easter and the Easter bunny and Easter eggs, like, that's Easter is basically one giant fertility.
And Christmas is funny because that's not even when Jesus was born. Well,
yeah, and then Christmas is just, like, celebrating the longest time of the year. Like, that's literally all it is. And then Easter is just fertility and fertility of the earth and your body and everything. So, anyway, that's how, TLDR, if you didn't know, that's how early Christians got pagans to follow Christianity, was they said, hey, we'll celebrate your holiday too, and we'll make your religious holidays, or we'll make our religious holidays the same day as your religious holidays, so that while you're celebrating your holiday, you're also celebrating ours.
Which was a little misleading because
very misleading.
It never happened.
Yes, so if you didn't know that, you do now. Go with that information how you should. Anyway, they also kind of connect it to the Freemasons. When you get to the 18th degree of Freemasonry, you become a Knight of the Rose Croix, which basically means the Rose and Cross. Now, the stones and the people who built the stones are actually all Masons because they had a huge Mason temple in the area, and, like, almost every man there was a Freemason. So basically, the difference kind of comes down to, like, humanism and religion. And that humankind can solve all of our problems and that God is not needed to solve them. Like, he's there and we understand and we worship God, and like we believe in the existence of God, but we made these problems, we can fix them. We don't need God to fix a problem that we made. Like he's not, like he shouldn't be responsible for the problems that we made. Like we should take responsibility for that, which I get. Now, basically why I struggle seeing the demonic aspect of the stones, it just seems like it's more likely that this group that wanted the stone was much more concerned with protecting society than creating these 10 commandments of the Antichrist that the Baptist preacher in this documentary seemed to like.
I'm just trying to figure out what in it.
He just kept saying that in order for all of these, what are they called? I don't even know what you call them. Let's call them commandments. These commandments to be carried out, it would require one man. He literally said this, one man to rise up and have influence over the entire world in order for all this to happen. And that person would have to be the Antichrist. Just seems a little bit dramatic to me, but that's...
How would that...
I don't know.
Take the cancer away from...
I don't know.
That just seems like very much reaching.
I just also wanted to say I really wanted Rhino today, but they closed at 6. So I had to get Starbucks.
Starbucks is not the same.
I didn't like it. I just don't like it. I think it's because I always ask for my iced caramel macchiato upside down because I want you to pour the milk into the espresso.
Oh.
But they don't. They never do it. And so normally what I end up having to do is I end up having to order a vanilla latte, add caramel syrup in order to get it how I want. Because that's literally the same thing. A macchiato and a latte are the same thing. Anyway. Squirrel. Okay, now, this is the interesting part. So if you've held in for all of that, this is when it kind of gets crazy, in my opinion.
Thank you for sticking with us.
Yeah, thank you for sticking with us. So now, there are some pretty insane theories about R.C. Christian. And as much as I kind of felt indifferent about the documentary, I'm 99.999% sure that they solved it. Who this person is. Okay? So, so yeah.
Keeps it simple.
No, I'm so complicated with my Starbucks order. Okay. Several people, including Wyatt Martin, the bank president, claimed to have remained in contact with R.C. Christian until his death. He declined to tell anyone when he died, out of like respect for the family. Like he didn't want to say when he died. But
what does that matter though?
Oh wow. Wyatt Martin also kept an IBM computer case, like one of the big ones, full of documents about the Guidestones, like a massive box, because he said he wanted to write a book about it one day, but he never got around to it. But during the documentary, I felt kind of bad because they kind of conned the old man into like showing them this box, and like conned him into opening it, and like conned him into like reading some things so that they could take pictures of stuff in there.
He could have said no.
He did say, like the first couple times that they talked him into it, and I was like, this is kind of weird, but they talked him into it. And during the footage, they are able to see, like when they looked at the footage and did all kinds of stuff to it, the name of a guy named Robert Merriman and an address in Fort Dodge, Iowa. Okay, so it was showing that the letters that R.C. Christian was sending to Wyatt Martin were postmarked from Fort Dodge, Iowa. And there was a magazine that was sent to the Smithsonian, courtesy of, or addressed to a man named Robert Merriman for R.C. Christian, like kind of like the middleman. So they tried through their investigation to connect Robert Merriman and R.C. Christian. There was just one big problem with this whole thing, though, which was that Robert Merriman died in 1992. So they initially thought that Robert Merriman was R.C. Christian, because
it kind of
sounds like it. You come to find out, Robert Merriman is also the person who published the book, The Common Sense Renewed. He published that book. So, ding, 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 we feel like we got a winner. Well, he died in 1992, and that was several years before the son of the granite owner, Fieldley or whatever his name is, he received a phone call from R.C. Christian in 2003. And
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And in the video footage that they were looking at when they conned the old man into opening this box, they were reading a letter that R.C. Christian had sent Martin that was dated 1998. So that was a big part. So they eventually surmised that Merriman not only just published the Common Sense Renewed book, but he had to be in some way in contact with R.C. Christian. So, next thing they did was investigate investigate the address in Iowa. And that's where they discovered that in the address there had once lived a man named Herbert Krystle, and he was a doctor, and he had lived there until his death in 2005.
Herbert.
This, along with his appearance, his documented appearance, is that he was kind of balding, he had white hair on the side. It seemed to kind of fit, and it kind of looked like that this was the God. This was R.C. Christian. They later found proof that looked like the letter that Wyatt Martin had received in 1998 was from this man. So in the letter, R.C. Christian documented that he had just had open heart surgery and that he was 78 years old. That means to be 78 in 1998, he would have had to have been born in 1920.
Okay.
So these investigators tracked down his burial and found his gravestone. And sure enough, Herbert Krystle was born May 7th, 1920.
Oh, wow.
So if you believe in following the logic of all of this,
so he would
it looks
been,
like this was him.
In his 50s when they made the stone.
So if you believe in following logic, this is where we're at. This is who it is. To even further that logic, Kirsten, the name Kirsten, actually means follower of Christ and is a different version of Christian. Okay. So they mean the same thing. So by him saying that his last name was Christian because of who he is, he's technically not lying.
Yeah, because
it's literally the same thing. It is who he is. Mm-hmm. So if you need further proof, though, Kirsten was actually hugely outspoken about overpopulation and the need for population control and how it would save the world. He also was a huge Catholic and was a practicing one until he died, and actually left the local diocese over almost $500,000 when he died. So we're going to follow that. So this is where it gets a little weird. And it's going to make you kind of rethink how we kind of actually like these. I already
know how I feel about the Catholic Church.
So this man, Herbert Krystle, was also known in this town to be ridiculously racist. Hardcore, the most racist person that anyone had ever met. Caused so many issues. He was a huge advocate of David Duke, the politician from Louisiana that was the Ku Klux Klan leader. He was also friends with Nobel Peace Prize winner William Shockley. So if you don't know about William Shockley, he is a man who said or believed, what also Kirsten believed, that black people were genetically inferior. And they would always be genetically inferior. And that...
How?
Don't understand. And that he believes that every human on Earth at an age of adulthood should be given an IQ test, and if they score less than 100, they should be paid to be sterilized. So if you had an IQ under 100, you had to be sterilized.
So on his stones, he meant everybody but black people.
Yes. Yes. So he knew that, and he spoke very openly about how black people and other people of color were genetically inferior to white Northern Europeans, and how white Northern Europeans were the top of the ladder.
We didn't know how to bathe ourselves when we came over. The Native American people had to show us how to wash our butts. And what?
So apparently this was a point of contention in the city too, because in the country club that was there that he was a part of, there was a lot of people of different races, different creeds, different backgrounds, and a lot of people didn't like him because of this. People just didn't like him.
Think of all the food we have here in Louisiana because of black people.
So I'm just going to tell y'all to take that how you want to take it, because I'm probably going to get hate comments about that too, but just take it how you take it.
Oh my God.
So now, knowing all of that, we have to go back to our list of things. Maintaining humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance of nature. Not a bad idea. I can understand 500 million people on Earth. That's a drastic cut in people. But I'm pretty sure the quality of life for every single person would be a lot greater. There'd be more food. People probably wouldn't be hungry. People wouldn't be living on top of each other. Think about how many people are in this, like, in India. And people are literally living on top of each other. It would improve conditions.
I just see the stones so differently now.
Probably not ever going to happen. Guide reproduction wisely. Understand it. I can understand guiding reproduction wisely. Maybe, to me, that means if we're scientifically advanced, maybe it's finding ways to prevent genetic whatever from passing on to people. Like, I get it. Improving fitness, okay, a little iffy, kind of ableism to me, but, whatever. Not whatever, it's kind of bad. But diversity, that's where it threw me. Because how do you have diversity among white Northern European people? Like, how do you have diversity between...
You have stanky people that don't know how to brush their teeth or grow crops. That's what you have.
So I didn't understand that part threw me, because if he was so racist, like, what kind of diversity are we talking about? Unite humanity with a living new language. Okay, I get it. A living new language just means that humanity at that time would all have the same language. But if you were restarting humanity, would you not already have?
It's just so fun. I see these stones
so differently now
because I'm
rule with passion, faith, and tradition, with all things with tempered reason. Okay, great. But if you add racism and just disgusting, like, people to it, I don't like that anymore.
This is
protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Okay, so if they don't look like white Northern Europeans, we're not going to do that? Like, is that what he's saying? By having that type of... So, yeah, it changes how you look at it, definitely. Definitely. So, anyway, today, you can visit the stones and walk right up to them. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to go just so I can see them in person. Like, I just want to see it in person. While Christian did want this place to be, like, away from, like, the tourists, he did not want tourists to come and see this. It literally has a road right in front of it. Like, maybe, like, 100 feet from it. There's a road.
Didn't want black people.
He didn't want black people.
Or people of color to see it.
Yeah, I guess not. Which kind of makes me laugh. Because he did not want it to be, like, a touristy thing, but it's literally listed on the Georgia website as a tourist attraction. So that just cracks me up, and I feel like he deserves that. So if you're ever around the Georgia-South Carolina border, kind of up north, go check it out. Maybe go laugh at it and say,
just wild.
Hi, racist piece of crap.
Wild.
But honestly, though, I'm still sticking to my theory that it's meant to be a guideline for repopulating the earth if something ever happens. But I don't know, it's just kind of obvious now that, like, everything was done in a very racist and very ableist way. So
I just like,
so I'm sorry, I just threw you for a loophole at the very end. It's just like, I
never-
gave you all this information, I was like, bam, he was a crap
never
person.
understood that. Why white European people just, like, for some reason in a lot of people's mind are superior. When we literally have the Aztec people.
Variety is a spice of life.
Life.
Yes, it is.
Just think about the Aztecs.
I don't know. Yeah.
And you're telling me people that can't wash
Well,
their
look, we were
stinkies out?
talking about how when we were on the girls trip, I told y'all I had got into, like, the thought process and went down the, like, research rabbit hole about, like, why there's a variety in skin tone and, like, what that means, and that at the genetic level, technically different skin tones and different people from different parts of the world are genetically different, but we're all the same species. But, like, the genetic differences lie in the fact that Some people have more melanin, some people don't.
No, I'd pop off for one.
And the people who are pale is just because you've lost that part of your genetics, and over time your skin's becoming thinner and thinner because you're living further and further from the sun. And I think we said
I glow in the dark too. Don't worry.
What was it?
Glow together.
The oldest person that they have found to have like fair skin was 8,000 years ago. Like that's, and before that, like we obviously know there was some time in between, but like 8 to 10,000 years ago is when people started becoming lighter skinned.
I just honestly want to know what life would have been like if Pangea hadn't happened.
Oh my god, it'd been so cool.
If it hadn't shifted, tectonic plates and just everything just
shitting everything nothing shit.
And it was just still
one giant continent.
One giant.
I mean, it would look really cool.
I think about that a lot. Like what would happen.
It'd be really cool. I feel like...
But we'll never know. So.
We won't. But just think about the gorgeous mountain ranges that we would have had. Well, think about the gorgeous mountain ranges that we have today that would...
Yeah, that's sad.
One person, yeah. It would be like...
I've just never felt like that in my entire life. I've never... Even like... I can remember specifically in middle school, we all had to do a project. And we were all given $1 million. And back then,
that's a lot of money.
It was like 6th grade, so I was like, oh my god.
I can do everything.
And like everybody was like naming off, and you had to like keep a detailed list of what you would spend. And I had to print out pictures and get magazines and cut it out. And it was like everything, I was like buying something for everybody else. Like, house for my mom, or like car for this person. I've never had that mentality, so I think it's weird for me.
And strangely enough, this is hilarious, but my brothers are just the greatest people because they find all the weird stuff. But Kansas found this website about...
That is true. Krystle also mentioned that the closer that you are to the equator.
Well, it's because your skin is what protects you from the sun rays. Yeah. So if you lived thousands and thousands of years ago, if you were closer to the sun, you needed darker skin to protect you.
So you weren't burnt, basically.
You could still get sunburnt, but it's just your sun's not taking in as much of the...
Like, I can physically get... I've got sun poisoning before. Yeah,
it's like, because the sun is giving off a very specific type of radiation. And your body is taking that in.
I mean, I've gotten the bubbles before that you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And without melanin to prevent you from getting that, you can get sunsick, and it's very easy to, the lighter you are. And so, like... That's why it doesn't make sense to me, like why people feel like just because of the way a person looks, that dictates the way they act.
How does that make us genetically...
Or that makes you different or makes someone inferior? Because in my opinion, that kind of makes you more...
We're weak.
Yeah.
I can't...
You can't be out in the sun as long.
It hurts me.
Like the sun literally is killing you.
How am I superior?
So it's never made sense to me. Ever. But Kansas found this website where basically you're given like a set of money, like let's say Elon Musk died today.
Oh, Lord. Okay?
And you're giving that money. I stayed on time for 2 days.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet you were. 100% you are.
Dehydration and sun poisoning.
Yeah, 100%. But you're given all the money. And you're given like a list of stuff. Of like stuff you can buy. And it's from like little things like a new phone. Yeah. To like a house or a business or whatever. And I literally went through all of it. And I'd be like, ooh, a new phone. So I can get one. I can get one for Tyler. I can get one for the boys, the rest of my family. I was like, I can get one for Stephanie. I can get one for Bethany, Zach. The boys need one. I was like, oh, look, iPads. Let me go get the boys new iPads, and I'll go ahead and get one. And I literally went through each list and was like, who could use this? And then it was stupid stuff like, a business, like a franchise for a restaurant. And I was like, I was like, if I could just give everybody like 5, I could set them up for the rest of their lives. If everybody that I knew, if I purchased with my own money a franchise, 5 franchises for you to run individually by yourself, you'd be set for the rest of your life. You would never need to work. And then it was like sending people to college. It was like $100,000 could send one person to college for 4 years. And I was like, I did like 200 people. And at the end of it, I still didn't even touch anything.
I think more people need that, but there's some people that are like, mine, I gotta have more and more, and which is fine. Like, that's like that protective. And I think especially after the Great Depression, a lot of people were like, we've seen how far at the bottom you can go, and but you don't have to be that way.
Yeah, you don't need possessions. I've always said money can buy you happiness. Possessions will not make you happy.
Yeah.
Because to my opinion, money can make you happy. Because money can give you the freedom to do things. Like, think about it, like if you had enough money where you never had to work and you could spend every day doing exactly what you wanted, visiting where you wanted, you know, going where you wanted. You never had to worry about filling your gas tank up with car. Like, filling your gas tank up with car. Filling your gas tank up with a car. Filling your
it's like
car
a little
up with
mini
gas.
car that goes in your tank.
Yes. Like, if you never had to worry about those things, you cannot tell me that your life wouldn't be happier.
It wouldn't, but I would spend so much time wanting to help others. And what can I do for you? How can I invest this?
And so that
what
would make you
happy. Need? Yeah, so then by the end of it, the money would be gone.
Yeah.
I'd be the
But at that point,
the quickest rich person because it would be spent in like a month.
But at that point, if you had that much money, your money is making you money. Like, if I gave you $100 million and told you had to live off that for the rest of your life, all you would have to do, if you invested that money, you could live and be able to give off the interest of that $100 million for the rest of your life.
Not a lot of people think that way. They invest that and they do all that, and then they just keep it to themselves. And I get their mentality, and they're thinking for themselves and their future families, which is okay. But when you have these people that have so much, and they're like, I need more, but they really don't.
You don't need more.
And then they're keeping it, and they're stashing it away, and they're hoarding it, and then think of the people that don't pay their taxes, and which taxes are stupid. That's a different discussion for a different day. But it's those people, and then they're like, well, why do I have to give money to these other people? A lot of those people have never lived that way.
Yeah.
Like Kim Kardashian, me and
her stupid comment.
Me and Krystle have already talked about that a lot, and it's just like out of sight, out of mind. But those are the people I'm talking about that they don't think the rest of America and the rest of the world and the country and everybody is working, when there's people that can work their entire lives and retire at 80 years old and still have nothing in their bank account.
Yeah. I think I really honestly, like, it just, I feel like it's a disconnect that's happened through generations of being blind and not seeing that there are the people that got you to where you are, the people that got your family to where they are. That happened on the backs of other people.
And it's not just money. It's coming back to race. It's that superiority when people think they're better than other people. And then it's just like, when are we going to all mesh together and realize we need each other? We're codependent.
For me, it feels like the idea that... and
it's natural.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, hemp. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, if we can all do hemp again, we would make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it kind of comes back to like that mentality of that it takes a village.
Mm-hmm.
Like how like today, like I was reading something about how they feel like a lot of women suffer from postpartum depression and struggle with caring for their kids and caring for their house because we don't have the community that we used to have when it came to raising a child. Now, when a mother or a father raises their child, it's often just them by themselves with their child, raising their child all day. Whereas 100 years ago, even 75, 50 years ago, it wasn't just the mom raising the child. She often had the help of a community. Or you can go back even further. You had friends, family that raised your children with you.
Society in people's minds and their ears, and saying that you have to do this alone, and if you reach out, and if you do all these other stuff, that like you're less than.
Yeah.
And
we've made it so that a mother or a father isn't a true mother or father unless they can handle it all by themselves.
It's more division.
But
division.
But it was never supposed to be like that. Literally, in my opinion, which is honestly to me why I love the kids of my friends and family, is because I may not have children, but I feel like it's my responsibility to love and protect and help raise the children that are around me because no one can do it by themselves.
I'm just always going to help anybody. And my mind never stops. It's really exhausting. I wish it would. It never stops, even when I'm in the shower, in the car. I was driving to meet Krystle, and I had to put something on. I couldn't just sit in the silence, and it was like, well, what can I think about right now? And I'm like, why do I have to think about something? But that's how my mind is. And I was like, all right, well, when I move back, what can I do? How can I help somebody else? And then that's how we were both talking about one of our good friends, and it wasn't just me thinking about myself. It was me thinking about others. And that's how I wish a lot of people thought. So
I'll come help you, Jerry. I love the girls.
Villages.
I mean, I'll be honest. Okay, so, like, that's why when people have children, I'm like, okay, what do you need? What can I get you? What can I buy you?
Society has, in the recent years, made us think that because there are a lot of people on TikTok that there is a trend going around that were like, just because you decided to have children doesn't mean I have to pick up your extra shifts at work. Which, yes.
Is true.
But don't be a butthole to me just because I decided to have kids and you didn't.
Like, to me...
There's a lot of people that think like that.
Yeah, to me, it's like... Okay, I'm just going to put Kansas on full blast. He understands the need for parental leave. But he doesn't like the idea of parental leave because he's like, I don't get parental leave. Why should they get parental leave just because they have kids? Why should someone be granted special privileges for having children? And I was like, it's not a special privilege.
It's not.
I was like, and I was trying to explain that it's not a special privilege.
It's not vacation.
You're connecting and building a relationship with your child. And in my opinion, I feel like the disconnect comes from people thinking that when you don't have a child and you're off work for 6 months, what are you doing? You're doing whatever you want to do. Yeah. You're just living your life however you want to do it.
I sure the heck am not.
But if you have a child, those 6 months are not 6 months that you're just doing nothing. You're literally doing a hard work of not only helping build and develop your child, but creating a safe place, loving your child. You're literally keeping
losing sleep.
So I felt like I talked to him about that, and we came to like an agreement of like why it was important. But I think that is the opinion that a lot of people have when it comes to parents, is that like, I didn't make the choice to have a kid, you did, you need to suffer the consequences.
It's also like a lot of out of sight, out of mind for people. Like, if you've never lived that lifestyle, and it's very easy to be like, well, I don't do this, I wouldn't do that, until you like actually are in that lifestyle. And I think that's where a lot of core problems in our world is like, it's just out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, I do too.
So,
I
and they're not willing to learn and take the time to see and view how other people live, and the struggles and the mentality, and how our towns are set up was made to cause poverty. And that's also another talk for a different day. But stuff like that.
Yeah, and it, I don't know, I just feel like it's really sad that we don't, as somebody that doesn't have biological children, I feel like it's very sad that we don't prioritize supporting our supporting families. I feel like families are the backbone of our society, and families look different. Like, to me, families look like a lot. I mean, technically the situation I'm in now is not a nuclear family, I guess you would call it. Like, we're not a mother and father and child. We are a group of 3 adults and a child or a teenager living and coexisting in one space. And we're taking care of that. We are fostering that. We are spending family time together. We're doing things as a family. And we are a family.
It's just wild that a group of people spent $60,000 to make this stone just to say white people are superior and that we need to stop letting people have babies and everybody's got to be Christian and whatever else the KKK said.
I mean, that's basically...
In the beginning, I was so for the stone. I was like, yeah.
This is a great thing. I did too. I really was.
What they're saying is awesome.
I will be completely honest. Before I figured all that out.
Now I'm disappointed.
I really thought that this was going to be like a really great thing, and I really was going to love it.
I was like, and there's more stones? Wait, I thought they said there were more.
And then I discovered all of this, and completely off it. Yeah. Who's about to be a village? Us?
We are.
I mean, we are about to be a village. If this turns out, like, literally...
Me and Krystle, before we started streaming, we're literally looking up homes.
Okay, so we got to give everybody another TLDR. It's not important.
We'll end on this.
Yeah, we'll end on this. We have the overarching forever plan of, yes, Tyler, we're going to be the next
Oh my
cult.
God, Tyler popped in here.
We have this plan that all of us are going to live on the same part of land. So, like, Bethany and her family, her mom and her brother in a house, and then Tyler and I in a house.
And my grandparents across the street.
Yes. And we are really wanting it to come true. As much as I don't want to live in Florida and become a Floridanite. I don't know, what you call it? Floridian.
A Floridanite? Oh my God. I gotta call Daniel. I gotta tell him that. This is get your woman.
Oh gosh, I couldn't think of like Floridian, so Floridanite was what came to mind.
Oh.
Anyway, we're going to live on a compound. We're going to have a garden. Shane is going to have his food truck.
Yes.
But we're going to help support and then do everything. I'm going to put a house there, and it's going to overlook the pool. And we're going to live a great life. I'm going to work from home, which means I can work from wherever.
We're going to continue the podcast.
We're going to continue the podcast in the little she shed we have. We're just going to, like... It's very much like the Gemstones. Thank you for that reference, because I love that show. We are all going to have, like, our little thing. And it's going to be the life. And it's going to be a forever home, apparently, which freaks me out. So... Yeah, we're going to be a cult.
Which we found some very interesting and very nice homes.
So, also, I did not know that modular homes were different than manufactured homes, which are also different from mobile homes.
We had to Google and look up some things and stuff. And they are really freaking nice.
Dude, these modular homes, I did not know, had to be built and put up according to the same standards as a house.
Yes.
So, I didn't know you had to do that.
Floridanite.
But I found some really, really nice ones. And I think what it said, like, with the foundation at all, for the square footage I wanted, it was, like, in between 160 and 300,000. Like, that's not bad. It's not bad.
Within their budget.
Within the budget. So...
We are trying to plan for the future so Bayou Chronicles can stay together.
Yes. So, they were not expensive. They were, like, the most expensive part, like, a good chunk of it was, like, getting the foundation, because you, like, have to build it on a foundation and you have to do all that. So, it really wasn't bad.
It's easy to watch a YouTube video like that, because you just, like, get into it. It's like watching a documentary or anything. You just get into it.
What does that mean? I watched an hour-long video on YouTube with Pete. I don't get it.
Very random, but I don't
get it, James.
Going with
sorry. But yeah, so maybe in a couple of years you're gonna see Bayou Chronicles in the middle of Florida. Not really, it's in the Panhandle, but we're gonna be in the middle of nowhere in Florida, and
oh yeah,
they're cool though. So
because they are also they're looking for land to put one.
But yeah, that's all I got. We ended our talk on modular homes. They're beautiful ones with a place in Mansfield. Okay, I was looking at that too. They're really pretty, and I'm going to walk through them. The reason this is hard is, you can ask Bethany and you can ask Tyler. I have the world's worst case of being picky.
Krystle's pretty picky when it comes to houses.
Number one on my list, and I went through every single house in Crestview area.
We did. The other night they came over and we just looked at houses.
Yes, for like 2.5 hours. If I can walk in the door and see into the kitchen, nope.
She makes a good point. You don't want anybody to come over to your house and immediately see your, like, dirty kitchen. Which I agree.
So, absolutely no on that. So, if you find a modular home that you can't see the kitchen, because I found a really cool one today, and it had like a little porch off of the master bedroom? But the porch of the master bedroom was in the front of the house. Like, it was the front of the house, and there was like a porch to walk in, and then windows, like a lot of windows, and then a porch on the front, and it was like the balcony.
I liked it. It was very nice.
I really liked it. Yeah, I liked it too. It was just strange. It didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I can't wait to start building this house, and your exact words are, I hate this, yes. You'll probably hear that.
I do not like open floor plans either. Open floor plans are a no for me. I like structure.
I like walls.
Walls, definitions.
I like walls.
Because when it's open, I feel like I don't know what to do with it.
Yes. It's just too much space.
Because
I need walls.
This house, our house now, it's just one long open room.
And then another long open room.
With one wall in the middle. And I feel like I can't make a good living room out of it. I don't like it.
Well, I don't know where your living room should be. I think that's my issue. Because
there's
too much space.
The garage has to be bigger. I can see that. A lot of people feel that way. James feels that way because he likes to work on cars.
Yeah, I don't need that.
So.
I don't need that.
He likes sitting outside, so I can see that.
Only thing I said. Oh my gosh! See, look, Jerry gets me. I said I wanted French doors. That was my thing.
We did find one that has really nice French doors.
I
like the barn doors, the ones that slide. I like those.
I want my office to have not barn doors. I want my French doors. I want French doors so bad. I
mean, you could always add it afterwards.
Yes.
That's a simple fix.
It was.
But, yeah.
So like we said, we need 3 bedrooms. If we don't have a child, 3 bedrooms. If we have a child, 4 bedrooms. Reason being is because we have our bedroom, and then Tyler has to have his own room. I have to have my own room.
And then the child.
Yes, and then if a child wants one, they can have the 4th bedroom. But if we just stay with 3 bedrooms, we're good. I just have to have my own space. I thrive best in my own space.
But we did find one that was pretty
darn good. I'm like really, really, really tempted to click the button that says get a quote. I was really tempted. Maybe I should go back and do it. I just want to see how much it would be.
I do like that one. That was very nice.
It
had very nice, like, it wasn't dark wood floor. It was like light colored wood floor. It was perfect.
And it also didn't look like those houses that everybody has where everything's white.
It was very unique.
And like it was like it was a very good house that I could take my
she could tweak it.
What's that thing that I found on TikTok? Whimsy goth. And I said that's totally 100% what I am.
It's like pastel
goth. Yeah. So like I was like I could totally make this a thing, and I could just build off of all the beautiful colors, because it was almost like a blank slate.
It had really nice.
Had a great kitchen.
Marble countertops.
Probably faux marble, but whatever.
Well, yeah, so
but still, it's not real marble. But still, yes, invite me to your Pinterest dream house board. I actually had to create a new Pinterest because mine was so contaminated with like 17-year-old Krystle.
Oh yeah, mine's pretty.
So I was like, this is not me
I don't
anymore.
scroll down too far because it's like teenage me and then it's like adult me.
Yeah, so I was like, I just need to create a whole new one. So I did. But
that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm going to at least, if we're not going to do anything, I'm at least going to turn off Audacity. So, love you guys.
Thank you
and
for
goodbye. But, no, I 100%, I loved that little modular home. It was like 1,900 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. You walked in, and it was like a little foyer.
Yes, and the master bathroom has a shower, and a nice bathtub.
Yes,
and 2 walk-in closets.
There's 1 closet in the bathroom and 1 closet off the bedroom, and then it had the French doors to go outside. When you walk in, the first thing you see is the living room, and then like off to the side, there's like an entryway, and then there's like the kitchen. But when you first walk in, you can't see the kitchen because there's enough of the wall and entryway that you don't see anything.
And a nice little laundry room that could also be a mud room.
Yeah, it was pretty big too. Like it was nice. I liked it.
It was very good.
I'd put that sucker on the land and call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then then what else were we saying? Property taxes, we could split those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotta have a Florida room.
What's a Florida room? James, educate me. I don't know what a Florida room is.
Florida room?
I'm gonna have to be a... What is a Florida room?
How do I not know what this is?
What's a Florida room?
I feel like now they're just saying stuff because they know chat's slow for us.
It's an outside... That's a...
Oh, yeah.
That's a sunroom.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I don't necessarily need... Well, how are bugs worse in Florida than they are here?
Yes.
So I need my porch to be screened in?
Yes. Mosquitoes are bad.
Okay. I apparently have the special blood type that mosquitoes love. So...
Yeah, because I don't remember getting as bit here as I have back home.
I get bit everywhere I
and
go.
yellow flies. Oh my god, yellow flies are so bad.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a fly, but a little bit bigger. Not as big as a horsefly, and it hurts when it bites you.
No, thank you.
Yes, not as much as a horsefly. Horsefly, oh my god.
Horseflies hurt.
Ah!
That's the most pain I've ever felt by being bit by something.
Yeah, when I was little and on my foot, and I think I'll remember that pain for the rest of my life.
Those are painful. I don't know.
Next to a cow, and oh my.
I don't know. All I have to say is thank you, Bethany, for making me realize that I have the dream of having a farm.
I've slowly talked her into moving.
It's not as bad for me as Louisiana. Also have
good,
the good blood.
Yeah. Ooh, South Florida. What part of South Florida?
I know she's doing travel nursing. I think you told me that, or I saw that.
Yes, Northwest Florida, Panhandle.
And we're just further enough away from the beach that I'm good.
Yeah, you're about 30 minutes.
I don't want to be by the beach. I don't like the beach. I don't like the sand. Don't mind the water. I just don't like the sand.
I think everybody feels that way. Nobody likes the sand at the beach. It gets all up in your places.
Okay. I don't like the sun. That is why I don't like it.
She's a vampire.
Yes. Like I have said, I prefer dark, gloomy, wet.
She's a
sad,
vampire.
Like... Oh, yeah, you get Disney discount.
I've already brought that up to Tyler because we already want to go to Universal in Harry Potter World and all of that.
We are planning this trip.
So yes.
Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, I've been to Fort Lauderdale a few times. It's not that far away. Probably about 8 hours away from us. 8 or 9 hours.
Not bad. Okay, I'd go to the beach at night. I really would.
That is when I love to go to the beach. I love going at night and just sitting out and listening to the water.
I would do that.
Feeling the breeze. It's perfect.
Ooh, huge Chick-fil-A.
We do.
Okay, look, I'll be honest.
The Chick-fil-A is huge.
I'll be honest.
It used to be a big restaurant.
Okay, so you remember when I texted you and asked you for the address? I wasn't trying to look at pictures. I was trying to find out the distance between where this place is to the nearest Chick-fil-A and Starbucks.
She literally, when they left, she was like, okay, your mom said Starbucks is 15 minutes away. We can move. And I was like...
That's literally what I said. Okay. I literally put in the directions to it, and it's almost a straight shot, and it's 15 minutes away. Now, Target was 45.
It's still not that bad.
Which is not bad. It was a lot, and like she said, maybe they're going to put one in Crestview.
I have a feeling eventually it's going to happen. I mean, they're already putting a lot more stuff there.
I don't care if I have to sign a petition. I told Tyler, 45 minutes to Target. That's an issue.
Well, they're about to build an outdoor mall, so maybe I feel like...
I was actually very upset. I really was. Because I told him, I was like, well, I can't just get in the car and go into Target and just walk around. Because that's what I do now. Like, if I get bored at home, I get in the car and I drive to Target and I just walk around Target. Yeah. I can't do that.
You're right. Chick-fil-A's only been there probably 2 years.
Okay.
So I feel like Target is...
So 2 years. So Crestview, you have 2 years.
Oh, yeah. We're getting an Aldi's.
Okay, never mind. We're good then. We're good.
Yeah, and Niceville's only 30 minutes away.
The only negative is the fact that there's an Aldi's means there's not a Trader Joe's, and I would prefer the Trader Joe's to the Aldi's. Oh God, Best Buy an hour away.
But Krystle will not want to drive to Destin. Yeah, there's a Wendy's pretty close, and there's a Publix. You will get to enjoy
I do like Publix. I do like.
I miss Publix. Oh my God.
Yeah, you can have your Wendy's.
I love Wendy's, and it's really close. It's like maybe 10 minutes away.
Yeah, see, look, it's getting better and better.
They just built that Wendy's too. It's 10 minutes away, and it's right next to Publix. Yes, Pubs Up. It's right next to Publix, and there's a Winn-Dixie. Do you know Winn-Dixie?
Yes, we have
Winn-Dixie. That is my favorite grocery store. I will pick Winn-Dixie over Publix, but Publix has the best subs.
I don't know. Living in South Louisiana, I really liked me some Rouse's.
And there's a Catfish House right next to Winn-Dixie. Oh my God. So good.
I don't know. I guess I just have to get used to driving more to places. I don't know.
Yeah, I bet it's cool so far.
Okay. My dream would be to live, this is so unrealistic. My dream would be to live in a small area where nobody is around me, but I'm literally 5 minutes from everything. It's never going to happen.
What the heck?
But that is what I want.
Okay, so Krystle needs a
No. Okay, I want an
cloud
acre
that lifts up into the sky when she doesn't want to be around people, and then when she wants to go to Starbucks and Target, the cloud comes down.
No, okay. I want to live on an acre of land, in the center of an acre of land, if not more. Oh, with a lot of trees, no, that's fine. An acre of land with a bunch of trees around me in the middle of a city. That's exactly what I want.
You know,
in a house that was built in the 1920s, preferably, because that is what I want. I want an old house that was built in the 1920s. It's not going to happen. But I can dream, right? Why are you laughing?
I'm just like...
I can go fast, like poison ivy.
I
could.
On Dragon Ball, when he
little cloud.
You need the little cloud.
The Nimbus cloud.
She'll just go up, and she'll be like, alright, I need to go to Target.
Hey, the Nimbus cloud is pretty fast. Like, it's a pretty fast little thing. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I don't know.
Yes.
15 minutes from stuff is not bad.
Yeah, and there's a Hawaiian barbecue place. Oh, like that food truck. There's a place just like that right down the road. Those houses are haunted. I'll die on that hill.
But I want to live in a haunted house. Wait, what was it? What creepy experience? Oh, I forgot. Okay, I can tell you all about a creepy experience. So the other night, I'm sitting on my bed, and TV's not playing. Tyler's in the other room, and I can hear his video game, and he's playing a sports game, so I know it wasn't Tyler. Cannon was probably playing Elden Ring or something, and then Kansas was downstairs. Me and Athena were sitting on the bed. She was asleep. I was sitting there reading a book or something. I was reading Silent Patient.
Oh, gosh.
All of a sudden, I hear what sounds like a little girl laugh
out
of my window.
Me.
Okay?
I was about to get in the shower and go to bed when she messaged me this.
So I'm sitting, my bed's this way, TV's here, 2 windows here, and all of a sudden I hear, and I was just, and when I tell you, my head went so fast, I went to look, but what really freaked me out was the fact that before I turned my head, Athena's head shot up and looked at the window. And I looked dead at my stupid cat and said, I know you heard that. You heard that, right? I was like, you heard that, right? That wasn't just me, right?
She was like, Mom.
And we just both stared at each other. And that's when I immediately texted her and I was like, I literally just heard a little girl laugh out my window. I will die on that hill. I totally forgot. I never
scared me now.
I never told anybody about Stephanie and I's ghost experience in Hot Springs, did I?
Oh, no. I haven't told anyone. I didn't even tell Zach.
Okay, so we went to one of the bathhouses. for a little tour.
I was being a nerd, reading all the exhibits in a different room.
Okay. Well, I normally do that, but for some reason
I wanted to read them, and they didn't want to, so they left me, so it's their fault they got scared.
So Bethany went into this little room that had little exhibit things, and Stephanie and I went into the women's changing rooms. Okay? Mm-hmm. And we were laughing because these changing rooms were so tiny. Like, I swear the door to get in was like this big. Stephanie and I both had to like turn a little bit to get into them. So she gets in one and I get in the other one right across from each other. We turn around, get in there, and shut, and we both locked the door. For some reason, I don't know why we locked the door, but like we were going to change or something.
It's like probably an instinct.
Yeah, so we got in there and we locked the door. The second we locked the door, we both heard this person run in front of the doors calling somebody's name, but we didn't catch the name. It just had like an sound to it, like Emily or Emma, or just like, maybe not even with an E, just like a sound. And the second it happened, I threw the lock open. Stephanie did too. We opened the door and we stared at each other. And we both started nervous laughing. And I was like...
And I walked... And I was like,
did you do that?
And I'm walking in the room like, hey, did you guys know why the hot springs are hot?
And we are dying laughing. And... we're just looking at each other, and Stephanie was like, I didn't do that. And I was like, I didn't do that either. And, Bethany's like, what's so funny? Like, what's going on?
I walked in, and they were, quiet, and I was like...
we just had a paranormal moment. So we, looked down the hall.
There was no women.
There was some men standing down the hall. But
there was one lady, but she only spoke Spanish because her husband was saying everything into Spanish, and then he was speaking English to their son. So I just kind of guessed that she didn't speak English.
But she was so far away.
Yeah, that was
us.
A couple minutes after that they walked by us. There was no women by, and I walked from the other room, and there was only men in the room behind me, and we were all reading the same thing because I was like, why is the hot springs hot?
Which, by the way, tell everybody why they're hot.
It's because there is an overabundance of chemicals under the layer of the tectonic plates, which there are 3 tectonic plates that go directly under this whole state of Arkansas, and at the very end it makes a Y right underneath. I don't know why I made that. I'm so sorry. Anyways, it makes a Y right underneath Hot Springs, the town, and it releases, what did I say it was?
Uranium,
which is kind of weird. And over thousands of years, that uranium built up into the groundwater, and the tectonic plates split, and that shot up, and it's just continuously kind of spewed out into the groundwater and the water system.
Yeah, and the water was rainwater from thousands of
years ago, built up with all those chemicals and stuff, and that pressure and stuff. And when some kind of earthquake or something happened and split that tectonic plate open, and that's how they got the hot springs.
Yeah. And she learned all that while we were getting scared.
While they were getting scared. And I was running into the room to be like, hey guys, I found out why the hot springs are hot.
And I was like, we found out this place is haunted. And then so when we went upstairs, some guy scared us coming out of a door, and he made the comment that
I don't stay here after dark. That's what he said, and I was like, what?
And then we ended up asking one of the park rangers. I was like, is this place haunted? And she was like, well, I can't confirm or deny that. We've had reporting.
She couldn't tell us what she believed.
Yeah, she was like, well, we've had reports of people saying stuff, but we can't say if it, she's like, there's been no confirmed deaths of someone at the bathhouse, which seems like a lie, because it seems like the whole bathhouse industry was run on the backs of African Americans. It literally seemed like they did everything.
I don't remember the date, but it was either the 70s or 80s when black people were actually allowed to go to the bathhouse themselves. They were only allowed to work at it.
Yeah. So I'm like, if these people, any person really, is working in conditions, I think they say it was between 90 and 110 degrees or something like that. Yeah. Is what the steam was of the day. All day long. And then their break room was in the boiler room, where it was even hotter.
Yeah, we actually got to go back there and see it too.
So, like, where you took your breaks, it was even hotter. So, you cannot tell me at least one person didn't die
at least
from that.
Dehydration, I would think, or a heat stroke, or
something. It was pretty intense.
It was an interesting experience.
Yeah, so if you're ever in Hot Springs, I mean, Jerry lives
read your stuff so you don't get spooked.
Yeah, it was cool.
They skipped it. They got spooked.
Well, then we went back and looked at it, though.
I think not.
It was creepy, though. It was very creepy. Yeah, I think that's all we have for you. We did not mean to go for 2.5 hours.
This was fun, though. Even though I was kind of disappointed on how the Guidestones ended. I was so hopeful.
Oh, well. It happens.
Yep. $60,000 wasted.
Okay, well, I hope everyone has a good night. How do I usually end the podcast? Do something good for somebody. Take care of yourself. Love yourself.
Drink your water. Take your meds if you take them. Make sure you eat at least 1 meal a day. James Dale. But yeah, take care of yourself. At least try to do something nice for somebody else this week. You don't have to spend money, but maybe say hi to them. Hold a door open. Just maybe send a text.
Tell somebody who likes their outfit. Tell somebody you love them. Eat your favorite food.
Be nice to yourself as well.
Nourish your body. Go for a walk.
Listen to some music.
Read a book.
I'm reading a good book right now.
I don't know. Whatever makes you happy.
I agree.
Smoke weed.
Oh, Lord.
Don't do hard drugs.
If it's legal.
Give a random person a genuine compliment. That's a great one.
That's a good one.
I don't know. Do you?
Brush your hair.
Yeah, but that's a good one. Brush your hair.
Brush your
teeth.
Brush your teeth. Take a shower.
Yes, take a shower. Wash your car. Clean out your car.
That's getting a little much for me.
Do the thing that makes you... Do the thing you've been, putting off. Like the chore that you've been delaying doing.
Oh, Lord.
Just do it. It's sucky, but just do it because you're going to be glad that you did it.
My garage.
Just do something. So, okay. That's all we got.
You guys have a good night and a great start of your week.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.